Hi, Margaret.
Where are you? I guess I put my eyeballs on.
Oh,
Turn the sound. Uh-oh.
what?
Now what happened?
I don't know.
Open link. Don't you go up here and have to click on it?
Oh,
What was that?
okay, you got it?
Nope, we're not up there. Oh, there you wait, you were on there. Okay. I need a booster. Now what?
I don't know.
Hey,
Can you
Jim. Hey, Terry.
hey, can you
Hi,
see
Ricky.
us and hear
Yeah,
us?
I can hear you.
Okay. I'll watch
Yeah,
my
you.
mouth then.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to mute myself because I don't know. I
I don't
might
know.
have to bite my tongue, you know.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid I'm gonna have to do too. And that's hard for me to do.
That's okay. Let it all out, Terry.
Oh, they'll be sorry.
Yeah.
Say it loud.
Loud and proud.
That's right. Ricky was at your place and he shoveled the snow off your sidewalk today.
I know.
Oh, okay.
I was there. I heard all this noise outside and I thought, what?
I was trying to be quiet.
No, we were thankful that you did, and it was so much appreciated.
No problem.
I mean, you're the only one I know of with a snow shovel.
We have two of them.
One
That's
guy.
what Rick said. One's yours and one's his.
Yeah. That's abuse for me. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, we built a snowman today at work.
Oh, for fun.
We named him Tony, and Josh, he left for a little bit and he comes back and Tony's all splattered on the ground. He says, "What did you do to Tony, Camille?"
Oh no.
Tony melted.
Oh shoot. Funny. I built a snowman several years back when we used to get snow, and I put a fishing pole in her hand.
Yeah.
This is kind of blurry. Can you reach close the blinds? Yeah.
Well, this is the first time we've been on here for a while. We've been
It
working.
is.
Yeah.
I hope we have a good turnout.
Yeah. Lots of catching up to do.
Yeah, I'd say. Now, I don't know who Jamie is. Do you? Okay, Bablis is on.
Jean is? Okay.
Alexia.
Alexa's on. No, there's a Jamie, and I don't know who that is.
Oh, I don't either.
Spelt as a boy's name or girl?
Well, it just says Jamie, so.
Yeah, you don't know.
Did.
It did. Hmm.
Guess we're not allowed to ask that question anymore.
Why
Yeah, you
not?
are. Hi, how are you, kiddo?
I'm good.
Put your husband on the picture. We'll ask him how he's doing.
Oh, not much. How are you, Gene?
No, you're not her husband, but you're. What's
What's
going on,
He
buddy,
is my
Richie?
husband. This is Camille.
I know.
That's my husband.
It's not putting the pictures like it usually does.
Oh,
No?
I think she waits till she joins everybody together, and then does that.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I know who that is now.
You Jamie?
Uh-huh. I seen the other name with it. Yeah. Hi, Jean.
Hi, kiddo. How's the hubby?
About the same. He
Move
feels,
the picture over. Is he next to you?
yeah, I don't know if you can
I can see now when
see.
you push it over there. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing okay, Gene. How about you?
Another day in paradise. I just got home from Puerto Vallarta for a week.
Oh, I envy you.
Oh, it was so beautiful. Oh my gosh.
I bet. I bet.
When I'm coming down Sunday, so I'll be down there for a few days. So I'll come over.
You might want to bring a snow shovel then.
It's gonna clear up because I'm gonna bring sunshine.
Well, good. We need it. Although we really need the precipitation.
Oh shit, yes we do. Hell, it's incredible. I've never seen a year like this my entire life here. Never.
This is crazy. It is really, really crazy, this weather. But we had at least 5 inches, I think, right, Rick?
Yeah, I was pretty close to
Wouldn't
4.
you say that?
It's snowing really hard right now here. We're getting snow real hard.
Well, it just got through. First it hailed. We had like little teeny pea-size hail. And then it started raining. This morning it was snowing. There was so much fog outside at midnight that I couldn't even see your house. There was
Hey.
that much fog.
You know, I was going through this chemo and radiation with my wife, and so I haven't been down since September. I just canceled everything and stayed there. She's doing a lot better. But how are my dinosaurs doing?
They're fine. They're not cold. I haven't heard them complaining over there. They
I
like
was
snow.
I was worrying they might be jumping off the top of that roof.
Not yet.
Well, I don't know, Gene. I think they'd be really cute by my fountain.
Yeah, well, they're tightened down pretty well. I wonder, are my lights still coming on at night? Do you notice?
It is, senor. I
Okay.
just got one little complaint. When I'm out sky watching, that light blinds my telescope. I can't see anything.
Go close them doors.
Yeah. Oh,
Or the blind.
okay. I'll be back.
Hey, everyone.
Morning,
Um,
Alexa.
Hi,
Afternoon.
welcome everyone. It's a rather surprising number of visitors this time. And so welcome everyone. Let's call this meeting to order. We get started. Before we start, we have a little change in the cast of characters on the board. Amy Golden has resigned, and the county has or will formally.
I'm interim appointed.
Okay, is that what you want to call it?
I
Has
think that's what they call it.
interim appointed Jean and will formally appoint Jean in 2 weeks or so for one of the first days of March to the board. So we will be on full form now by that time. Let me just start by welcoming Jean to the board.
Thank you.
In interim capacity or otherwise. And let me also thank Amy, I'm sure on behalf of everyone for her 3 years of service on the board. We appreciated her contribution, and sad to see her go, and have now we hope that that Jean will be able to fill her shoes.
Well, nobody can fill her shoes. I'll just wear my own.
Okay, that is probably a good idea. So, first point of order. Oh, let me think. Mike, have you figured out with the county, can Jean vote in this meeting, or?
Based on what little communication I had with Caden early this afternoon, it was kind of ambiguous, but he was surprised that we were swearing him in this meeting before the county made an official decision. So I would say to err on the side of caution, and we just go ahead and move forward and have him as a participant, but not a voter. That would be my suggestion.
Well, my talking to Jerry Taylor, I'm just telling you that he told me that interim appointments, in my experience, interim appointments fill that spot, whatever the spot is, on the interim basis until it's permanently done. But an interim basis gives you all the rights and everything that the interim person you're replacing is. That's the reason to appoint interim. But I don't think we need to have, I don't think, like you said, Mike, there's probably not much that needs to be done in regards to voting or anything right now, correct?
But I anticipate votes on the transition issues and nothing else. Everything else is just
I think we're all in agreement on that. I am with Mike anyway, so I think it's really kind of a moot issue.
right. I think you're probably right. So let's not waste any more breath on that. So we're still doing our electronic participation meetings because we can. Anybody who wants to be quoted chapter and verse can look at the top of our meeting agenda. Public comments. We love to hear from people. We have a total of 15 minutes, 3 minutes per person. Anyone?
Come on, somebody. Tell us what you think.
I'm disgusted with the whole thing.
Can you be a little bit more specific?
Oh, every time we just start to see a little light at the end of the tunnel, the train runs us over. It's just, there's been so many changes, and not particularly in favor of the town here. It seems like we can't get the help that it needs. And I understand we're a very small entity in Garfield County, but it just seems like it's hard to get any help to get some resolutions resolved here. The wheel's been reinvented several times on this solar project, and nothing seems to be coming through on that either. And what's going on with the water that we lost the right on?
I'd like to make a quick comment that, Beth, I think that there is behind the scenes that solar decision is going to be made very quickly, and it'll move forward very fast. I think you're going to be surprised.
Yeah, we've been working very hard on that for the last 2 years, and it has been frustrating, and especially for the board. I think we've went through, several different vendors and funding opportunities, and everything seems to kind of crash down on us a little bit. But I think we've got some good solutions, and I think we're going to have some hard choices to make here soon. But I think we're going to come out with a really good product and something that's going to serve the community.
And timely, it'll be quick, right, Frank? I think you
Yes,
can
sir.
assure that.
By next meeting.
Yeah, you can assure her.
And it's item 10 on the agenda. So may I suggest to move further discussions to that time?
Perfect.
Yeah, and guys, Mary's got her hand raised to ask something.
Mary, please.
Mary, you got to unmute.
Mary disappeared.
No, she's on here. She's just got her mute.
Just a little red mark that has a circle.
There she is.
Yeah, we just got to unmute you there, Mary. I tried, but it's going to be on your end. If you can there. Let's see. Yep, you're going to have to unmute there, Mary.
Maybe she could use sign language.
Yeah, I can't do it from my end here.
You got to hold up a sign saying unmute because she can't hear you telling her that.
Yeah,
Still
unfortunately,
can't speak.
Sorry, John.
no worries. Well, we can certainly,
Yeah, I think we can move on for a minute. And,
yeah.
there is a discussion on the water rights coming up too. That's on the agenda, and Alexis is going to give us
I'm
some greatest on the
I'm
water rights.
back. I'm sorry. Can you guys
Okay.
hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, the only comment I had is as I read the agenda and we're coming into now separation of North Lake Pal and TUID. We have a lot of equipment inventory, I'm sure. And that's just something I hope we address as we get into this meeting, is to like, now where does everything just go down to the dump as our storage facility for our equipment, and how things will kind of just go in that. So I hope that's just something that's included tonight as you guys discuss this.
Yeah, we can comment on that, Mary. Right now, it's still in covered storage with NLP, like the loader and the tractor and the truck. But yeah, we have an agreement with them. If it does come out, it wouldn't go to the dump. It'd actually go back up to the power plant.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So my only
Okay.
concern about that is that stipulation is like a 48 to 72 hour courtesy notice. Um, so for the namesake, like a response trailer, that probably is something we'll look at pulling out, because 24 to 48 hours really wouldn't help us for a response, obviously an emergency response. So, yeah, that's going to be something we have to look at. But yeah, at least for now, it's still under there, and would probably, again, for that reason, look to move it out. Because of that time, delay that would be required.
Yeah. Thank you.
Certainly.
Anyone else? Margaret, you are waving.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, great. It didn't work on my computer. Regarding that equipment, which I think is really important because it's really TUID's equipment.
Yes.
Way back when, the reason some of that stuff was bought was that people in Tickaboo could use things like the front loader. And under, let's say in the last few years, that has not been allowed. And I would just like to say that's a really important thing for a lot of us to be able to use. We have qualified people here, more than enough of them. Shane, Kent, Jean, all kinds of people.
Right.
And I would like to see it come back as something possible for us, because there's a lot of work that needs to be done in different places here. And some people would like to participate in helping do that.
Yeah, I'll just comment. I know we'd have to look at that for insurance. For example, like even anybody who drives the TID truck, like I know that from NLP's revolving employees, they have to be vetted through insurance and added. So we just have to make sure for that, from the operations, and of course from there, that's a board, level decision to revisit that. So I'd defer to you guys, as the board on that one.
It's definitely something we can look into, under which conditions that might be possible.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I think it's like Margaret said, it's valuable. If we can figure out a way to help out, that'd be great.
Yeah, that equipment actually was on a rental basis, and I think that Chip was actually running the equipment, and so you could actually rent based upon him running the equipment for whatever hours.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I,
That's
I
pretty
brought my
cool.
equipment down because Chip was trying to tell me that I wasn't skilled enough. Then I brought my insurance policy down because, so I just moved my own. So it was a mood issue, but insurance is crucial. When I was down the NLP with the Tapestry development, they had to list me on their as insured, operating my equipment on their property and their equipment. So there was, like John said, that's key is the insurance policy because we don't want to have something happen and have no insurance.
Yeah, let's just keep that in our mind and
Yep.
get back to that at some point in the not too distant future. Anyone else wants to share their feelings with the board about anything? And if there's no one else, then we will close the public comment period and go to item number 5, board reports and business water rights updates. If it's okay, I'd like to start with a quick update on the water rights. The settlement agreement between Jones and the Mill and TUID has been signed. They're a little late coming up with their $250,000. About 150 of them are going to be paid by the insurance company and should be in our account by wire transfer sometime next week. And Jones and the Mill is going to send us a check or send our attorney a check, and that should also be here next week. So at that point, we will have $250,000 to go water rights shopping. And the main prospect for that is buy water from the Trust Lands Administration. I'm an employee of the Trust Lands Administration, so I'm not going to have anything to do with that. I'm going to leave all that up to Jean and Mike.
With your direction, because you have the contacts, right?
Yes, I will make sure that that the contacts are made and that my coworkers at the Trust Lands Administration know where to find you and
Yeah,
set up meetings and inform you on the process and get that ball rolling.
perfect.
Any of the other Mike or Jean, do you have anything to share
I
with
don't.
us?
Should we kind of give a comparison between our actual usage right now versus what 250,000 may be able to buy in water, just to kind of ease everybody's mind?
I don't think you need to do that, Mike. I think it's done. I mean, what difference does it make? It's the settlement's done. So
Well, just for example, I think we used 17 acre foot of water last year. Is that right, John?
Yeah, yeah. So at roughly 8 million gallons, 16 to 17 acre feet.
Yeah, so even if we use 20 acre feet at the very high end of the price, which I think is like $5,000 per acre foot, we'd only be $100,000 into it. So the water for current use is guaranteed to be able to be bought with the settlement money. I believe it's enough to buy the water for all platted lots and the hotel in Tickaboo. Where we're going to fall short is for additional development, where we're just going to have to ask the developer to bring water, like in a lot of places in the state, which is really sad, but that's where we are.
it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm proposing to just move item number 6 to next time when there is when also Jean has had some time to think about this. I am, after 3 years, completely ready to relinquish the hammer. I think it's somebody else's turn. So we can think about that for the next couple of weeks and then move this item to that meeting when we're all not interim board members.
Yeah.
If my fellow board members are okay with that.
I think that's wise.
I do too, I agree.
Okay. Okay, now we're getting to the meat of this meeting. And shall I just set the stage for this? So somewhere towards the end of January, North Lake Powell decided to terminate Jon and Connie's employment. Originally, like at the end of that month, but eventually by the end of February, the end of this month. That left us at that point with two choices. To stay with NLP and have other employees of NLP fulfill the contract, which was their initial assumption. But after some discussions about how that would work, NLP decided to terminate the contract as of March 1st. So that left us, but we still had the office lease. That is kind of a whole separate agreement. Well, we pay $1,200 for the use of the office by the base camp. So where we landed on all that, we're going to officially, and that is one of the items that we're going to vote for. We're going to vote for the termination of the NLP contract effective March 1st. We're going to also move the office, the employment termination of Jon and Connie came with the consequence that they could also no longer stay at their house, which was part of the compensation they received for their employment. So we have, in talking to NLP, we came to an agreement that we could move the property subject to the lease to a trailer at the south end of Tickaboo. It's the one that has the number 138. It's almost at the very southern end. There are 3 similar trailers, and this is the one in the middle. So we're going to pay $112 in rent for that trailer and have Jon and Connie live there and keep an office there. And they've worked their butts off cleaning up that place, which it really, really needed. The other part, so it's a 3-part thing. The third part of the agreement that we had with Jon and Connie that we're putting in front of the board right now is to have TUID employ them at the same rates they were paid by NLP for a period of 6 months. And then during that period of 6 months, work on the transition to an as yet unidentified model of management. So I'm not sure how to go to that because we have 3 separate items that we need to vote about. So maybe we should start with a discussion with the board about all 3 of them, whatever part of it needs discussion, and then we can decide whether we make this 1 vote for 3 items or 3 votes for 3 items. So I think given the circumstances, and I agree, I can't remember who said that at the beginning of the meeting, that whenever you think you got a grip on things, things change. And that's really, really frustrating. And I've done some banging my head against the wall about all this myself. But I think given where we were a month ago, we have kind of sorted it out, at least for the short term. And I'm happy with the arrangement.
Alexa, I have a little bit of input I'd like to make.
Absolutely.
I don't think that we need to hire them as employees. I think we need to do an independent contractor agreement for whatever term we determined is right. But I don't think we want to go through all of the unemployment requirements, taxes, and all that stuff. When we do have an independent contractor, there are rules that make them an independent contractor versus an employee, or an employee versus an independent contractor. I think we have to comply with those. But I'd feel more comfortable in having an independent contractor agreement with them on the interim until we figure out the picture we want to make and what we're going to do overall, because it's I think it's better for us as TUID board.
I can comment on that. You guys know we talked about that and modeled it. If you guys want to hear about that, because it doesn't apply to just us. It's going to apply whoever looks at this in the future. There's a lot of tax implications, Gene, with the independent contractor. And if you're a small business, you pay a ton of taxes. Yeah, that's going to be not just for us, but for anybody that's not already a contractor or does over, I think the threshold was like 250,000 or 500,000 a year as a normal business.
Yeah, and
Before it became feasible. Yeah, it was a huge tax on the individual that had to form an LLC to do that. Is going to be the issue.
John, we do independent contractor agreements all the time with individuals, not with LLCs. So,
yeah, I don't think that this discussion is really appropriate to be held in public. This seems like
yeah.
This seems like an I don't know, not quite sure what the word is, but
Personnel matters for executive session.
yeah, if we do think we need to go there, we can do that. My sense is that and that is we Mike and I have talked to Jon and Connie about the employment model, and that is what we have agreed on. And I don't think that it's a little late to in the game to change the path that we are already on the other, and I also don't really see the need to change path. I think it's not that complicated to hire people as TUID, and we've done it before and we can do it again.
As employees of TUID?
As employees of TUID, and they'd be at will employees, so.
Well, they all are in Utah. That's law.
I know you can kick, as Jon and Connie are already painfully aware of, they can be kicked to the curb for any or no reason and with no notice.
Utah law. Yeah.
Yay, free enterprise for the win. So I guess you would be the swing vote on this, Mike.
I am totally open to leave this up to further discussion. As you stated, Alexa, you and I had decided that employment was probably the best path for the interim 6-month period. And we were really at the time looking at the situation from the perspective of everything just fell apart. And we need to make sure that TUID has somebody there to make sure the generators are on and the billing happens. So I think that's really what drove that initial decision to take care of them and make sure they were there to take care of the community.
Well,
And
you got to remember that garbage contract and the dump contract out there is a big deal to the county.
You will absolutely have to take care of that. I agree.
And that's having a working relationship with them, because John can't go out there and run the equipment. That's not physically possible. So I think that we need to really address that so that we can have coverage of that contract, so we're not in breach of that contract.
Yes, and NLP has said that they would take care of that until the end of the month, but you're right, that's 10 days that we have to figure out what to do about that.
Well, and I can tell you some of the conversations I had, but I think that Mike is right. I think we probably ought to do this in a different form.
Yeah, my only question is, guys, so speaking of end of the month, that's the same amount of time uh left whichever way the board goes and whichever way we go. So that, yeah, that's what do you guys suggest in the interim in the next 8 days?
I have an idea. I think that somehow we have to mend that relationship that you have with the NLP people, and because we need their employees. There's no doubt. You can't go out. You've got to agree with that, right, John?
Yeah, but I don't know if you call it mending. I mean, I haven't spoken with them and there's really no relationship. So I don't know if you would call mending, Gene, is going to be the issue. They've kind of cut off contact with me.
I know, and that's what we need to. Okay, I don't mean mending on your end. I think that
Yeah.
we need to take the bull by the horns as a
Yeah,
board.
I have the commitment from Dave that his employees will be available
Good.
for doing jobs for TUID ongoing. He
Right.
hasn't put that in writing. It's not been signed in blood but that is what he told me.
It's his best interest to see it happen too. So
Right. So I think we should just at some point we just and after we get the termination of the contract, the moving to the 138 trailer and the hiring decision formalized, we can then move on and then sort out all those details.
don't you think
And
that? Don't you think though that that's a big part of the job that John's going to have, is to make sure that is completed and that we're able to do that?
yes, that's going to be John's job to sort that out, and I have full confidence in John that he will do that.
Well, okay. I don't know if I could air everything right here. I've had conversations with people, and I think that it can be done, but I think it's going to be Bob's decision and Dave's to say yes, that they're going to work with us. And I was hesitant to talk to them. I've had a working relationship with them because I've done a lot of work with them. So I think that they're pragmatic as well, and I think that we need to make sure that, and they're the owners and they're the bosses of the, like Tim and everybody below them. So, I mean, if they say that they're going to do that, I'm confident as you are that Bob's going to do what he says he's going to do, and Dave will.
Okay, so so what do we need more discussions on this, or should we move to voting on this?
I
just
think
kind of add to the conversation. I do believe that there is a path that benefits both North Lake Powell and TUID for some kind of agreement for the landfill. And I would like to, start that process and get something formalized, hopefully by the next meeting, to make sure that, one, it's going to benefit North Lake Powell to have that. And two, it's going to benefit TUID to be able to focus more on trash collection in town and taking care of stuff up there. So I think there's a mutual agreement that can be made here. I think we just need to start exploring that more in depth here soon.
Well,
I'd like to reach out to Bob and talk to Bob because I think I have a good rapport with him. I just was hesitant to do it without everybody agreeing to do it. That's okay.
I think we should just stipulate from the outset that every board member has the right to speak to
Good.
anyone else at any time they want.
Yeah, okay. I think that we don't need to be doing duplicity though. I think that
Right. Yeah, some coordination is good, but we shouldn't like keep ourselves in a straitjacket in terms of who we're gonna talk to.
no, I agree, but I'm in a nebulous position because of what was they said, as I was hesitant to reach out at that.
Right, yeah. Well,
And-
I think some information gathering is always good,
Yeah. Well,
even though you're not, none of us in whatever position are in a position to give the final word for the other board members. So in that sense, doesn't really change much. So do we want to do one vote for the termination of the NLP contract, the 138 trailer and the hiring decisions, or do we want to do this as a separate thing?
I think it's your call. I mean, simplicity is that they all go hand in hand, I think, don't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can make that motion, Madam
Okay.
Chair.
If you
I'll make a
promise to not
motion.
call me Madam Chair again.
Come on. That's the correct verbiage, correct?
Yeah, I know. Sounds odd to me, but
All right, so I'll make a motion to terminate the NLP contract as requested by NLP. And I will also make in that motion to rent unit 138 for 6 months, sign the lease for the office space and employee housing. And with that, we will hire Jon and Connie for that 6-month period and discuss future at a later date.
can I make it's gonna be a move from the office lease to from the office space to the trailer, and the lease runs for another year.
I don't think we did.
I tried to get Dave to let us off the hook for the last 6 months, but he refused.
Okay, so we would be leasing the trailer for a year.
Until I think it's April 1st, 2027, which was the termination date of the office lease.
Oh, I got you. So he's adding the office lease in on the trailer
Yeah,
lease.
it's just the same lease. It's just other property attached to it.
That really doesn't seem reasonable to me, but
I think he's kind of dug his heel in. I think he'd be open to modification
Well,
if we need to.
of course he's dug his heel in. We don't have anywhere else to go. Sold it all.
And
Aren't we doing this lease with the trailer so we can accommodate John to have housing?
yes,
That's the primary purpose of having that all in one consolidated area, correct?
well, and and for an office. I
Yeah, I
mean, the one property only accommodates an office, and the other one is a residence and an office.
I get it. And was John's housing in the NLP agreement before? Were they giving that to him as a something for a benefit for his employment?
Yes.
So they were not charging John anything or NLP or Peekaboo.
I'm not exactly sure, but it also doesn't really matter.
Yeah. I just want backgrounds though. That's all.
Yeah.
well, at any rate, whatever happens, we'll be leasing something for the next year.
Yeah.
Because we have nothing. So we might as well go ahead and approve it for a year lease.
Okay, so does that mean that you now have to restate the whole thing?
No.
It would probably be better if I run through it again just a little more clearly.
Okay.
But in the agenda, it says a 6-month trailer lease, and didn't say anything about the remaining of the office space. So I will change my motion to include a 1 year, and we'll just
Yeah,
call it the trailer lease.
yeah, just call it April 1st, 2027.
Okay. April 1st.
And then depending on what what the final outcome of the transition is, we'll decide what to do with that trailer then.
Okay, I'll make a motion to terminate the contract with NLP per NLP's request. In doing so, we will lease Unit 138 for living and office space until April 1st of 2027. And in doing so, hire Jon and Connie for TUID employees for TUID employees post NLP termination for 6 months, starting March 1st.
Because
I'll
I can,
second.
oh, you second that, good. So, let's do our formal vote for this. Mike,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes.
and Alexa also yes. The motion carries unanimously, which is a great relief to me.
And to John.
I'll get, yeah, I'll get there eventually after we get
Yeah.
moved. Then I'll be relieved.
Okay.
Yeah.
We are recording this, right?
Yes, we are.
Good. I didn't see the notice. I was like, ah.
Yeah, I double checked it to make sure.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay, good. So the next item is about the PPA. And maybe Mike, you can start by telling a story of what happened.
Here real quick. You mean start at the beginning?
Yeah, why not? Just so it's all on the record. Start where we left off at last meeting when we thought we had a PPA.
Okay, in late December, we signed a proposal with ALTRIS Energy, or we didn't sign, we created a resolution to sign a proposal with ALTRIS Energy for a PPA project for Tickaboo. Shortly thereafter, a couple things changed. There was an investor involved who left, and also the water rights issue came to light. And subsequently, ALTRIS pulled their proposal, leaving Alexa and I looking for a plan to start another RFP and see if we could find somebody. During that time, I reached out to TORUS again. We'd kind of stopped negotiations with TORUS mutually last summer, but they were gracious to come back in and submit another proposal. Shortly after that, ALTRIS came back in and said they wanted to stay involved in the PPA process. Some things changed with their agreement. Pretty much every meeting, something changed, leading me to believe that the resolution is null and void that we created back in December because the agreement had changed. So right now, where we sit, we've got ALTRIS agreement and a TORUS agreement that we're deciding on for the future of Tickaboo. Does that pretty much sum it up, Alexa?
Yes. And thanks to Mike for spending endless amount of energy on both talking to ALTRIS about further defining what would happen if Tickaboo expanded, because the capacity of both plants is really based on current loads. So Mike worked with ALTRIS to flesh out what would in their scenario happen if Tickaboo expands. And in the TORUS agreement, it was always fairly clear. It was very clearly defined what would happen if the loads increased. So at this point, we are 2 months later, and we're in an odd situation where we have asked for some refinements of ALTRIS proposal, and we've also not have all the details of the TORUS proposal, but they should both come in next week.
Yes, yes.
And
Go ahead.
at which time we can sit down and seriously compare the two.
Agreed.
Do we want to go into some of the differences at this point?
Well, I think a good overall picture of what we started out to achieve is really important in this process. And really the biggest impact to TUID is that generator plant. When generators get old and break down, when we have issues, it's a huge expense on the utility to try to get, cat techs down there and get things fixed. And then, diesel fuel's back here fluctuating and going up and down. And so our biggest objective, or at least the way I see it, our biggest objective is to reduce total generator runtime. And where solar plants really don't work for a lot of things, like if you've got grid tie power, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to put a lot of solar in. But when you don't have any power, solar makes great sense. And if we can reduce our generator runtime to less than 25% of the time, it's going to create a lot of savings in maintenance. It's going to create a lot of savings in diesel, and it's going to allow us to look at different rates and promote growth in the region and hopefully bring more people down there to where we've got more people paying into the system, and it'll make it easier for everybody. So I kind of think that was our whole entire objective. And we got two great proposals. They're different, in my opinion. One is a little more expensive, but creates a little more guarantee and insurance on our future. The other one is less expensive and doesn't create that quite guarantee. But that's one board member's perspective, and I guess I don't know if we want to go into much more than that or not, Alexa.
Yeah, I think I'm very price driven. I believe that the TORUS proposal for to some extent pays for really nice looking equipment. Like their battery stack is, it's drop dead gorgeous. So, but you pay like 20% more for like the gorgeousness of it. The solar panels are solar panels, and they have equipment that may be really useful, and I'm sure it is. I can't always judge that because I'm more a numbers person than a techie person. Numbers and words, not so much technical. So I have a hard time passing up the good deal for pretty equipment. And so that is part of why I lean ALTRIS to this point. And the other thing is that TORUS has great guarantees. It's also kind of locks us into their model. When I asked them at a meeting, so what are we going to do for if technology changes, the guy said, well, Nate is a great inventor and he will invent us something new. And ALTRIS is more loosey-goosey, and they're not very specific in how they're going to deal with growth, but that is flexibility on both sides.
They haven't even designed the plant yet.
But I trust that they can. So there are these issues, and I'm not saying that TORUS is a bad plan, and that we won't be perfectly happy with them. But
Better spell it out.
I'm very reluctant to pay more money for the perceived solidity of their proposal. So, but if
Okay.
I wake up and Taurus is building solar panels in Tickaboo, then I will not be unhappy. It's just that I'm kind of on the fence on this.
That's fair enough. And if you want to go into detail, I'll go into detail on why I'm
Yeah,
encouraging
please,
Taurus's
please. And
design.
I
You
think
know,
this is good for Jean as well, who's
I
going
think
to
so.
be in the unenviable decision to have to make a decision, not having been steeped into this conversation for the last 2 years.
Yeah, I'll go back to the original objective, and that's to reduce generator runtime. Taurus, yeah, they do have nice looking equipment. They design and build it right there in Salt Lake, and they have a guarantee in their proposal that if generator runtime should exceed 25% of the total load, they will come down and add more equipment at their expense. And if they cannot mediate that 25% runtime in 90 days, they will pay us back for the excess power over that 25%. So that guarantee right there really fits the whole objective we had to reduce generator runtime versus the ALTRIS proposal where we get to negotiate in good faith if they go over 25%, which means that we really don't know what we're going to end up doing, whether we end up paying to add more capacity to their system, where the Taurus system is their system, and they're going to provide us power at 24 cents kilowatt hour for 20 years with 10% increase versus ALTRIS's almost 50% increase over 20 years. So there is a lot of appeal to a lower price in the beginning, but really I think the guarantees that Taurus is going to give us over the life of the contract will insulate us from generator runtime overages that ALTRIS, quite frankly, is not going to guarantee they're going to fix. They're pretty much guaranteeing their size, scope, and structure from the get-go, and they're not guaranteeing they're going to increase that. They're going to base it on commercial reasonableness. So that's kind of one of the things that really pushes me one direction or the other is the ALTRIS agreement puts all the risk on TUID, where the Taurus agreement, they keep most of the risk on themselves to increase plant. And then Taurus has also agreed to if say Garcane built a line, if there was ever enough load in Tickaboo or that region, our district, to build a line down there, Taurus will match that price. I got that confirmation in writing today. So if Garcane come in at 12 cents kilowatt hour, for example, Taurus will match that price because one, there's enough load there for them to sell enough kilowatt hours above and beyond to still satisfy their profit portfolio for their system. So it really makes sense. And, you know, I'm an electrical engineer. I've been doing it for 22 years and really impressed by their system. I'm really impressed by their engineering. They've already got our system designed. They can tell me everything about it. Whereas ALTRIS, they haven't done any engineering on it. They're just telling us what they're going to do. So that's my spiel on the two.
Jean, do you want to add anything to that at this point?
Mike, you want to talk about the fact that I've reviewed both programs now? I've been able to talk to both entities, and then I kind of have my own feel as well. I'm also going to go down to, they have a 600,000 square foot facility out by the prison here in by the airport that they invited us to go look at. And I'm going to drive down there because
Cool.
I'd like to see hands-on what they're doing. I've been able to do some homework with ES Solar is one of the biggest providers through Utah or for Rocky Mountain Power for individual homes. They don't do commercial. And I asked them about references and what their experience has been working with each one of those. They had absolutely no knowledge of Altius. They had good response to Taurus.
Taurus powered or is powering the Olympics viewing party here down the street.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. Their logo, which I probably wouldn't have noticed if if I hadn't known about Taurus from in this context, but
Yeah,
not
I
bad.
invite everybody to Google Taurus Energy and go look at their webpage and all the work they've done with the Utah Energy and the governor. And they've got accounts with Pacific Corp. They got accounts with Rocky Mountain Energy. They're more of a utility scale PPA provider. So that's kind of one thing that was important to me during this aspect.
We don't usually do that, but if any members of the public want to ask something, add something, comment something, I'd like to open it up for that. Yeah, Ricky, are you trying to say something?
Yeah, I am.
Hi, Ricky, haven't talked to you in quite a while.
Yeah, it has been, and I like what Mike's saying, and I agree with Mike, and because I trust Mike as an engineer, and my gut feeling is to go with Taurus. I like the guarantees. I like their proposal, and that would be my vote.
Okay, anyone else?
I second Ricky.
Okay, well, I said everything I wanted to say on the subject, so if nobody else wants to say anything, then oh, yes. You're on mute.
You guys are muted if you're trying to talk to us. There you go.
Okay, we got her. We got her. Um, it to me, it sounds like Taurus would have better guarantees and they would keep up with the technology as it changes. And like we all want is if we have dependable electricity, then that's going to bring in people buying property, bring in maybe some more businesses. You know, we pay so doggone much on it that it scares people off from buying the lots and stuff here. And we have to pay X amount of money for that generator, whether it's 10 people paying it or 100 people paying it.
Exactly. You know, and that's a very good point is through this whole process. And that's what makes it so hard to make this decision. It's, you know, we've been working on this for what, 8 months now, Alexa. And you really want to, you know, I'm with Alexa in a lot of ways. I want to go to the cheapest point too, because I know that if we lower the price of power in Tickaboo, we can increase the load. And that's really what everybody needs is to increase that load. Because as the load goes up, the cost of energy goes down. And we need that load to go up. So I was really price driven too for a long time, thinking, man, if we can get that price per kilowatt hour down, people are going to start buying and building lots and things are going to go up. And while that's true, but I think there's a fine line between what you get for what you get. And you really need to be careful as far as, you know, deciding what system is going to be right for our future. And it's kind of how I got to my decision, but you're exactly right there.
I have another question too. Just wondering, you know, Garcane goes clear through Torrey, Bicknell, Loa, and Wayne County there over at Hanksville. would there be any chance of us getting on the tail end of that? Or another food for thought, if we do go with Taurus, then maybe Hanksville could buy electricity from us.
Well,
Well,
the problem with that is that it's 60 miles from Hanksville to Tickaboo.
Yeah.
And this is several years old, this number, but a mile of line cost $1 million. So
Oh,
while we had the county and trust lands and I don't know who all participated, had some research done. And if Tickaboo and the area grows to a certain mass, the cheapest way to provide electricity is to string a line from Hanksville to Tickaboo. There is just no way to get from here to there
yeah.
because it's $60 million that have to come from somewhere. And I have not identified a source that is going to come up with that kind of money.
that's it, and that's exactly right. What's the only way we're going to get a line from Garcane or any other big provider, say a micronuclear provider, is if our load substantially increases. We've got to have the base load there before it makes any sense to spend that kind of money. So we're kind of in a situation here where we got to do something, and this is going to help in the interim and hopefully start growing our load to the point where we can entertain, those bigger investments, or somebody else will entertain those bigger investments to provide us power. I think there's a big future in nuclear, and that's coming, and it's being pushed hard, and that's why I was happy to get some confirmation from Taurus that they would entertain matching those prices if it becomes available at some point.
Mike, did you broach that subject with Taurus? Of what you talked about today, of the fact that if there are any costs associated with putting this in, that they're going to front that, because we're not going. I mean, that's imperative to be in our agreement that the TUID is not going to be responsible to put anything into this. That it's on their dime, because we don't have
I forwarded that new proposal to Eugene, and they did put that in writing that there will be no cost to TUID for installing their system on ours.
I'd like to probably tweak it a little bit to say that they agree to bear any expenses beyond any expenses not to place it on TUID, because we can't afford it.
Yep. They're willing to do that. They said that there will be no cost to us for installing their system until they start producing power, and then we just got to buy the power.
Okay, so it's basically a no-brainer in my opinion.
Yeah, take a look at that updated proposal when you get a chance, and maybe we should post it to the public website so people can
Maybe
take a
you
look
should
at
send
it.
it to me as well.
Yeah,
I did.
Alexa, we
You got
just
it,
had a
Alexa.
conversation today. We had that conversation with Taurus, and I said, I think we need to make sure that we have a written agreement that provides that TUID is not going to expend any sums to install or bring the system up online, that they're going to bear all costs associated wherewith.
Yep.
So they don't come back into us and say, hey, you need to replace this, or hey, you need to do that, because we can't afford to do that.
Yeah, and that's kind of where the ALTRIS proposal was coming from, with switchgear and possibly a new
I
power
know.
transformer.
When we
Yeah.
talked to them, they were willy-nilly. They were all over the board. After listening to what they said and then the questions we were able to pose to them, I'm going like, man, this is like writing stuff on a napkin and hoping that napkin doesn't get lost.
Yeah, Alexa, you should have that updated proposal. I sent it right before the meeting. We were just finishing up.
Okay.
We're still waiting for a couple items that are fairly important. So I'm still working with them and hopefully have it
Okay.
totally nailed down in the next
Okay.
week.
Okay. Sounds good.
Alexa, I think it's real important for us to not to prevent us from having to spend any money.
I agree. Just pay for the electricity.
Correct. And it may affect the cost. I don't know, because I don't know what all the transfer stations or the transfer switches and all that. I think John knows more about that than and Mike, but I just don't want to have an unexpected big bill come. Hey, you guys need to pay for this in order for you to receive the power. I mean,
Yeah.
that would cripple us.
Yeah, and we can dive deeper into that too, Gene, and be really explicit with them. But right now, they've assured me there would be no cost for
It
installing their system and connecting it to ours.
it
So,
has to be explicit. It needs to be in
yep.
writing, very specifically stated. So we need to tweak that to the point where we're all comfortable.
Margaret, you got your hand up?
Amber does.
Oh, Amber. Amber?
No, that's just my cursor.
No, it's Margaret. Yeah, Margaret, you just have to unmute yourself there, but yeah, we can see your hand.
Looks like you're in a dark house.
Maybe she's trying to tell me the power went out in Tickaboo.
Yeah.
John, get out there and get going, man.
Yeah.
My question
There she goes.
is kind of, or just my thought along with what Terry just said. Okay, assuming we get this one of the two, preferably I think Taurus, but one of the two putting in solar here, is there the possibility that the park and wells down there, that they would buy electricity from us? And what would that take?
There was initial discussion with Taurus last summer where they were, and we haven't discussed that this contract talk time, but initially they were interested in basically they would, if like say NLP down at offshore wanted to get off their generators, they would come down and install a system and bill TUID for the kilowatt hours, and then we could turn around and bill offshore. So it would work like a real district should. They would sell the power basically to us, and then we bill for it. But they would build these pilot projects in our district and start connecting some of these outliers that are still on generator. As far as the park goes, I know that they've talked back and forth, and if we could ever get a line down there, I'm sure we could make an agreement with them because they're probably just as tired of being on generators as we are. But just having that capacity to serve and those agreements in place. But I think that's all doable. I think we just need to focus on and move that direction once we've kind of got our own problem solved there in Tickaboo.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and I would put the initiative on the other side. If offshore wants to connect, then we'll talk. If NLP, if the marina wants to connect, then we can talk. But I don't see any advantage to us right now, to TUID and the people in Tickaboo and the businesses in Tickaboo to actively go promote that.
It helps our
Yeah.
costs go down. It does make sense, but I mean, it needs to be economically sound. I mean, and Mike's idea of us being actually the improvement district that provides power and making it go through us to go to them would make sense. I mean,
Mm.
if that does happen, and definitely they should be invited to be able to join it. If tourists can be able to service it, why wouldn't we want them to be part of that? That we could have that.
No, I'm not against it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that I don't think it's at this point worth our energy to
Yeah.
go lobby them to do what we do.
Not yet, no. We probably ought to get a system up and going and show them it works. Then I think that it might be a different deal.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the key. Just get our problem solved and then start looking
Yeah.
to other things.
Well,
You know,
and while we're talking about electricity for other people, and the reason we got to talk about ALTRIS to begin with is because they have this plan that includes a data center somewhere behind the hill in the Tickaboo area with a rather large power producing installation. And the original plan, which may or may not have disintegrated, was for ALTRIS to power their data center and Tickaboo and possible expansion development. So that's how we got to talk to ALTRIS. So there is some, and back in summer, the reason that we agreed to talk to ALTRIS was like, okay, so what if they produce 12 cents per kilowatt hour electricity just south for it, and we're still stuck with 24, which at that time was 30. So there is that dynamic too, but that kind of breaks my brain a little bit.
Doesn't that data center seem like a pie in the sky right now? I mean, right now we have a community that's in need of
Right.
service.
That was my point at the time, that if we're going to talk to you, we're going to talk to you about a PPA that stands on its own 2 feet.
Correct.
That does not depend on any future expansion. And everybody and his brother wants to build a data center out in the desert.
Yeah. Well,
But
in talking to Taurus, they can service it. I mean, they have the abilities to do the same thing. And if that needs to be added on afterwards, I think that's to be a plus. Not that we want
yeah,
a data center in our backyard, but I don't,
yeah, and might not. It's not even going to be. Apparently, the latest plan was for it to not even be on trust lands, but on BLM land. I'm not sure that they are aware of how long it takes to do anything on BLM land, but that's a whole other story.
well, like I said, I think that there's a lot of pie in the sky.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I made a proposal to our board here, and they're all very polite people, but they still couldn't hide that. Then they thought what I was proposing was really funny.
Yeah.
But
Well,
we'll just
like I
have
said,
to see how that goes.
I think with where we're headed right now, I mean, I can tell you that my alignment is with Taurus as well. I'm with Mike on this, and so I don't know that we need to spend a lot of time doing anything else other than I think we have to probably focus in on getting this Taurus agreement put together.
That seems what it looks like.
Well, and frankly, we spent a lot of time talking, Mike and I. Mike sent me a lot of the paperwork. I was able to review it, and I sat through that Altius presentation and listened to them. And I just feel that there's too many ifs, question marks, and stuff that they're looking at doing all these other things. Like Dave and Bob have these intentions of doing those things. We can still invite them to do the same thing, but do it through Taurus, not through Altus.
I have to admit that I kind of like the flexibility that goes both ways. But like I said, if it's going to be Taurus, I'm not going to be crying myself to sleep. I think they're a solid company and they'll do good work.
I think we're pretty much there. I mean, it's just a matter of fine tuning and getting some of these things we're thinking about tied in there. So,
Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
couple more
I mean,
details.
if you feel that way, then that is the logical conclusion.
There's a few more details I want to get tied up and definitely, a proposal is a long way from a legal contract, and that takes some time too. So I think it's going to be a little bit down the road on either one to just get all that finalized. But I think we should definitely look at voting as soon as possible to get a plant built as soon as possible and start providing some relief to
well,
take a bit.
Mike,
Isn't their proposal in the form of a draft contract?
yeah, I mean, Mike, it's paper, it's cut and paste agreements. I think you're reading more in
Yeah.
there is. This is not, they're not inventing the wheel for this agreement. They have agreements all over the place. It's cut and
Well, that's
paste and tailoring it to us. This is not going to be a insurmountable or a large job. I mean, it's
okay.
just a matter of
Well,
putting it together. So I think you're reading a little bit too much into the timing on that. I think that, we need power, we need backup, we need ideas, and I think we've crossed that bridge. I mean, I know.
Well, Taurus pretty much promised me if everything goes good, a little over 2 months to commission. If things hit snags, it could be up to 4 months. But, I think, yeah, the sooner we make this decision, the better. Either way, really, we need to get moving.
Well,
And
we can tweak the agreement now. I mean, I don't think that we have a final draft of anything we want to do. I think we've thrown others a couple of things like today. You added more things today, and I think as we look at things, we're going to think of other things. But they seem very palatable to work with. They seem like they're willing to do what's necessary, and if it makes sense, I think they're on there. And I don't think we're doing anything that doesn't make sense. I mean, we're not
yeah,
asking for anything preposterous.
no, they've really changed our structure as far as their design and uh, negotiations go, to where it's just me and one other guy working together,
Yeah.
and he's bouncing it off his team, and I'm bouncing it off you guys, and that's kind of how it's working, and it seems to be working well. So I don't see any huge delay, other than maybe we should wait until the county
County.
gives its blessing on
Yeah.
your seat, and we
Yeah.
get that solidified.
Mike, I really think it's important though for us to also go out there and look at their facilities. I mean, when they represented me, they had 600,000 square feet out there. I was aghast because that's a mega facility. And I just want to just do some homework a little bit to verify. When I'm told something, I don't believe I'm just being told it. I want to be able to verify with my eyes.
So
And
it's property where
Alexa and I
we
actually
were
went there.
there this summer. It's really nice. It's a really impressive
yeah.
facility.
Well, so you guys have seen it, but this new one they're moving to a new facility.
Oh,
I haven't
okay.
seen the new one.
This is a brand new facility. They just told us about it today, and they said they're occupying it now. Right? I just like it's close to me. It's
Go
25
see
minute
it.
drive. I'm
Definitely.
I'm going to. There's no doubt I'm going to,
Yeah.
because I think that we need to be able to be comfortable. I mean, again, I think that our due diligence, you guys have done 99.9% of it, but when they throwing out things like that, I'm going like, whoa, that's a big swallow to swallow for me. In my experience, I mean, a 600,000 square foot building is mega. I mean, it's the Delta Center over again. So, I mean, it's big, to me, that would be more indicative that if that is true, these guys are able to continue to go to do the things necessary for us, because
Yeah.
we're just going to be a gnat on their ass.
Yep, I agree. And I think this is a really good conversation, so everybody can hear it. I'm glad to have the opportunity to talk about stuff like this. But the technology, and I'm not talking Taurus or Ultras specific here, but the technology is such now that a solar panel charges these battery energy storage systems. And the battery energy storage system uses AI intelligence from inside itself. It doesn't go outside of the web, other than some weather monitoring and different things. But say you get to about 4 a.m. in the morning and your battery is going to run out of power before the sun comes up. It'll only run our generator long enough to charge that battery to get us to sunup.
That's
It
not.
won't generator to fill the battery. It just
Right.
runs it long enough. The technology is phenomenal.
Yeah, and it's changes. Like I sent you that stuff on nuclear. I think
Yeah.
Trump has said, Johnny, behold, we're going forward on nuclear, and frankly, I think it's going to get to a point where the nuclear facilities are going to be so minute and the impact to the environment so negligible that it's going to make sense. Because, like Alexa said, everybody wants to build an AI center somewhere.
Yep. And that's our only handicap right now, is our 0.5 megawatt isn't enough to get anybody excited in
Yeah.
investing $9 million in a nuclear setup. But once we get there, once our load expands and grows, if we can lower the cost, get our load grow, once we get there, we might get somebody to say, "Hey, we'd like to put a nuke down there."
The nuke,
And I'm confident that Taurus is going to work with them.
well, the nuclear thing is we don't know what the capability is. That is, when American has ingenuity, they get on it, and they're on it. So, I mean,
Yep.
we've seen those articles we've been talking about, and it's pretty crazy.
It's really crazy. They're even mentioned Tickaboo in the Salt Lake Tribune.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still
That's
haven't found
crazy.
the woman who said that everybody is talking about Tickaboo. Like, I'd like to know who everybody is.
Yeah, everybody.
I know where
Yeah.
there's some lots for
Who was
sale.
that? Mary. Margaret.
Yep. So, have we beat that horse long enough, or do we need
Yeah,
to?
no, I
Yeah.
think we're good.
Okay. What
I
was the
think
next
we're
one?
good.
Don, Mr. Motley.
Oh, it's my turn.
Yeah.
Please.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. I'll transition you guys in a little bit. Yeah. As we talk about Taurus and alternative energy, I mean, it's a game changer, even in the scope of, running TUID too. I mean, uh, yeah, it changes everything. And I spend an inordinate amount of time in those generators. I'm glad to hear some people think it's easy that I make it look that way, but it's a lot of work. Um, and that changes the future. Yeah. Whether I'm here or not, as we get, things, and we are seeing growth too. I mean, look, part of what we do that probably goes unknown is we spend a lot of time in development in real estate here too. We facilitate the sale of lots. Don't get any commission from it, but we do. And then, often Connie and I, we're kind of the de facto on-site contractor. I'm meeting a guy Monday, with new lots and, all that. And of course, we welcome that. That's part of the growth here too. But I'm going to give you guys more of a holistic view. On the update this time, and the reason being I've been really, really busy. We're moving a home, an office, and a lot of stuff. So it's been busy. It's never not busy. I think, and Gene, I'll tie this into you and your question about relationships. My answer is yes. I'm willing to, number one, build, maintain, and repair any relationship, based on, mutual understanding and mutual trust. I think those are missing, and that's something I'll reach out, for you to help with on there too. And I'll explain that to you in more detail. But part of that is, I think people get confused because we're a seasonal tourist destination primarily. Well, TUID is 24/7. And what I mean by that is right now is into the old year, beginning of the new year, there's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, we'd have to do end of year reports that are, very technical. And then we do an audit that takes, even though we've done it and you get better every year you do it, trust me, we anticipate it. It's always still busy. There's always 100 questions. There's things changing in the audit laws and that too. So that's busy. That keeps us busy too. And of course, this solar has been busy. We've had a lot of meetings, and which is good. I mean, it's a expensive decision, so it requires that. But that's taken a lot of time too, and it'll take time too. Whoever comes in here, there's working with those guys too. So again, back to your point, Gene, and as you guys discuss the landfill items like that, yeah, that plays into that too, is the amount of time, tied up on new projects. So glad to see them, but there is a time value and workload versus capacity there too. So but yeah, I think any relationship we look at, it just mutual understanding, mutual trust, transparency. We can always work from there to do that. So
Well, I'm still coming down. I've set up a meeting with Tim as well. I'm going to meet with him
good.
and kind of thing, and I'm hoping I can get you two together and see if we can. I don't know what the issues are, but whatever they are, they're childish, most of them. So
Well, and I'm with you. What I've tried to do for TUID is number one, we have a lot of rules and regulations, the laws and ethics. So I've never hurt a relationship before by following those. So that's where I'm a little lost. So if we have clarity to know where to begin to repair, how and what disrepaired that. And I think there's a misconception that TUID you can run it how you need to. That's not so. When you're in this seat and you guys seat too, there's laws and regulations we're bound to. I'm not willing to violate those or any ethical standards. And I think that's the right way to do it. So I think that's going to be the debate, the my way, your way, and the right way. So.
we only
Uh,
have one way. It's TUID's way. I mean, that's the only option we have.
But it's pretty black and white. It's pretty regulated.
I don't.
When you
I,
look at all
I
the
don't think there's
laws.
anything to talk about. But I
Yeah.
think that
So
I think
yeah,
that we need to use their people, their skill level to relieve that from you to
yeah,
have to be doing that out there. And if we don't have that lined up, then we're not going to be able to honor. We're not going to be able to complete the terms of the contract with the dump.
yeah. Like I
And
said, when you factor the solar, no, and I certainly appreciate your efforts on that, and look forward to seeing you down here next week and walking around with you on those
Sunday.
Sundays. We
I'll
said
be down
that
Sunday, so you and I can keep together Monday. Just plan on
that'd be a
Monday.
good thing. But other than that, operationally, generators good right now. Thank goodness. As we all know, we've got 3 in rotation, and they're a little mismatched. The MQ, it'll run this time of the year, but we get spikes, with all the heat cuts on, it doesn't like it and it causes issues. The big 15 is a little bit over, obviously, this time of the year, and we got one, C9. So that's interesting. And yeah, the sooner we get things done here, the better. Uh, and again, I'm not touting anybody. I'll work with anybody who comes in here as stated. But and hopefully they could back it up if it is TARS. Chris Klima said today, he's like, we could do this in 4 weeks, and he
I
said we
know.
could reduce your generator time to 10%. That's like winning the lottery for me, and it
Yeah,
would be for TUID too, and
absolutely.
Well,
and
and
TUID. But uh, so that would be great if we actually accomplish that.
well,
Uh,
that the whole power quality issues will go away for you with solar
yeah,
energy.
yeah,
That's a big thing. A lot of
yeah,
people, diesel generation, three-phase diesel generation is based on the three-phase balanced load, and that's
yeah,
one thing we don't have, and that
yeah.
creates a lot of issues. As a
Yeah.
lot of people, Ricky and all you guys know on this call, that'll all go away.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
I
Well,
can
and
attest to it. I had to replace my refrigerator and my stove already.
yeah, no, you got it. I agree. It's that capacity, and Mike knows better than me. Mike's the expert, but I've learned a lot from Mike, and by doing this too, what we're looking at with capacitance and the 25 kVA system and all that too. So that'd be great. And that's the other thing, Chris mentioned today too. You guys remember just anecdotally that we talk about nuclear. They're going to start tying nuclear in with the BESS system, where they're going to use nuclear to battery too. So
Yeah,
you got those components. That's interesting. Yeah, it's very exciting what they're
it
talking
is.
about there too. So
It is.
good stuff there. But yeah, we just continue to stay busy with again, you got IEA 86 reports, water reports, all that keeps us really busy. Yeah, nothing ever stalls out here. So um, other than that, everything is going as planned. Um, as far as that goes, yeah, daily. There's other tasks coming up too. Let me see what I got on my list here. Of course, we'll have the year-end audited financials. They look good in the raw. They look less good when you add in depreciation, but thank goodness it's not real money per se, but it is what it is on that. So, um, and again, you guys mentioned growth. We're seeing that now. We're seeing a lot of organic interest in lots here, and it could only get bigger with that too as time goes on. A lot of people are interested, so we'll see that uh, go up, too. And the more incentive we have to get people in here with things like solar, and like for example, one of the guys that seems like he's going to buy wants to do his own solar. And we would love to be able to tie him in to the grid, versus him doing his own for that too. So
I
things
think
like that.
the guys over at ES Solar said avoid that. Don't let people start doing their own solar systems. Because I suggested doing that to my place. I said, let me just get on that. He goes, you can't. He goes,
Yeah.
you'll screw up the TUID district, and you'll be liable for what happens if it kicks back in and where it goes and everything. So, before somebody starts jumping the well to go through and do that, they need to really know what they're doing.
Yeah, no, and I'll speak with this person and tell them that, this hopefully it's on the way, uh, and dissuade them, and get them on. And the other thing is too, as a board, you guys know TUID had a solar moratorium. So it's always within your right and judgment to re-exercise that moratorium at any time too, for that.
Against homeowners putting in their own.
Yeah, that, and it ties in with the net metering, too, because a lot of it, that's one of the huge benefits is net metering and selling back to the grid.
Right.
Overproduce otherwise for what you've, got up there. So but it's definitely you guys right.
I think Utah's
To do
like
that.
Colorado as far as that goes. They require that utilities allow net metering. And I think that moratorium lets us get out of that based on our situation.
Yeah.
But you could put solar panels on your residence down there. You just can't feed back onto us.
That's it, and that's the
So
problem. Most
yeah,
systems are designed to do that. They're not designed to function on
exactly.
their own.
Exactly. You'd have to have battery storage and all that to
Yep.
just do your own thing. But anyway, that's kind of the gist of all that.
Yeah. Good deal. No, just, and, again, follow up, guys, on the transition. We're looking forward to it. Again, look, we're invested in Tickaboo and want the best for it too. It's hard not to be, and, we appreciate everybody there and get along with them. And we're going to work on a plan for transition. The one thing a plan can't be for TUID is you can't step in 5 days or 10 days and run it. Um,
No.
Again, I understand the underappreciation and I live with that, but it is a very complicated business to run. And the reason I'm saying that too, we'll start looking at a transit. And Gene, we discussed this today. Any of us could drop dead tomorrow. So you should always have a succession plan for a business. No matter what that's just how it is. And it could happen. So we need to build that anyway, and it needs to be viable. So we're going to work on that. But it'll be the time to transition too. You can be the smartest person in the world, and I call it situational intelligence. You have to understand TUID, all its quirks, and that only comes with time. No matter how brilliant you are, and will things run themselves by themselves for a while? Absolutely. That's the big joke among utilities. You can not pay attention to something for sometimes months, sometimes years, but it's the effort and expertise comes in running things the right way. So that's part of that too. But we'll be looking at that as a transition, and things have changed so much. That's why we're doing this, because we really don't know where the future lies. We don't know in general anyway, but that's part of this too. So, no, look, I appreciate all you guys and the hard work with the board. Your input too, Gene, just over the last couple of days. I know you're thrown in with that, and again, it's another tumble cycle in the dryer, so to speak. So I appreciate everybody coming together and working together. Everybody's been focused on business, and that's that helps TUID versus robbing TUID, and of course, in turn, that helps Tickaboo. So I appreciate that from everybody.
Thank you.
That's it for my update. So, guys, a little holistic view, and I'll get you a more written one once we're done moving and in the new office and residence, and back laser focused on business too.
Okay, thank you, John.
Certainly.
Next meeting. We have that scheduled for March 11.
Hey, John,
Yes.
she's pregnant.
Oh Lord.
I promised John one of my kittens. So I go in tomorrow for the X-ray.
I was like,
beautiful
where the hell
cat.
did
You'll have a new kitten here before long.
Oh Lord, they're beautiful. I like those cats. They're both beautiful Maine Coons. If nobody knows what a Maine Coon is, yeah.
She's cuddling like crazy because I've been gone.
Yeah, they're beautiful, purebred cats for sure. No, that's good news, Gene.
Good job.
So
I'll have
Good
with
job,
me.
John.
Yeah.
Good job, John.
Thank you, Ricky. Appreciate that.
We appreciate you.
Well, thank you. Like I said, I appreciate all you guys too.
Hey, March 11. And by that time, the county will most likely have appointed Jean as a board member after having noticed it probably on Monday the 9th. So then we'll be in full force and ready to vote on the PPA, I hope.
Yeah.
yes, and with your guys' approval, I'll continue contract negotiations with TORUS and get that all finalized and keep you all updated along the way.
Yeah, sounds great. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion that we adjourn the meeting. Thank you very much for everybody's participation. This was a really good meeting.
Thank you, Mike.
I second it.
Thank you, Alexa.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Alexa.
Mark.
Everybody in
Good night.
favor, say aye.
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 Go
Thank
home.
you all. Have a good evening.
Guys, have a good one.
Enjoy the weekend.
It's
And
like, thank you.
you, John and Mike, all of you guys.
Good deal. Thank you, Terry. Appreciate that very
We
much.
appreciate it, everything you and Connie have done for the town as well.
It's good to be appreciated. So thank
And
you.
if you need someone to babysit the Maine Coon,
You and Chaco, we'll do that. Yeah.
Chaco's
Hey, Gene,
afraid of cats. He's a
I might
disgrace to
talk
his
you out of one of those too
species.
if you got an extra.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
they're
have
beautiful.
some.
Like a
Okay.
bobcat. Yeah. They're beautiful cats.
They're just so rewarding. I mean, they're just
Put my name on one.
And
Okay.
Mike, they act like a dog too. Yeah,
Yep.
they act like a dog. Yeah.
So
I need a cat big enough I can train with my dog so my dog don't run it off. Because
There you go. Yeah.
I got a new dog and I had cats and then he grew up and chased them all off. So if I can
you-
train them, throw them up together.
If you see my male, you'd know he ain't gonna run that male off. My son-in-laws have 2 Saint Bernards down here, and those Saint Bernards come in here and they mind that cat. That cat tells them what to do.
That's funny.
So, Jean, did your Maine Coons have the kittens, or
We haven't had them yet. She just they bred on their own, and I'm going in tomorrow to get the X-ray done to know how many we've got coming and stuff. So
how
Wow.
neat?
That's
Cool.
it.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
Gene, aren't they Russian lineage?
both of them are, yeah, from
We
different
have
different
a chicken.
lines.
Yeah, it's
Hey,
crazy.
Gene, send us a picture. Tanya was wanting to see a picture of them.
I will. I'll send them to you. Okay,
Cool.
cool.
They're cool cats.
Right.
My girlfriend has 2 of them.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
no doubt.
Yeah, they're
Oh.
big as a bobcat, aren't they? They're pretty
Well,
big.
the male is huge,
Yeah,
and he's only a year old.
yeah, they're big.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys very
Right.
much again. I
Thank you,
appreciate it.
guys.
We're doing the best we can and trying to make things happen.
Absolutely.
Thank you for including us in on this, you guys, because that would really put a damper to a lot of rumors that's floating around. We're more informed now, so everybody will quit,
Well, go knock on
And-
doors.
so and so did this and that or whatever.
Yeah.
We're more
Well, with
informed
Gene-
now.
With Gene in town and I think going forward, we're going to try to I'd like to go back to monthly meetings if we can and do some different things. So
Do that.
especially through the construction phase of a PPA, we need
Yeah.
to have monthly meetings and keep everybody updated on what's going on.
Good idea. Good idea. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good.
All right. Thank you all. Y'all
Take care,
have a
guys.
wonderful evening.
Have a good night.
All right.
Yep,
Bye-bye.
see ya.
We're out of here.